touch with those people. And they said, you know what, we can't make it on $7.25 or $8 or $9 an hour. And the American people said, yeah, we understand that. And what happened is Seattle and Los Angeles and San Francisco and other communities began to raise the minimum wage up to $15 an hour over the next few years. That's how change comes. So I have not the slightest doubt that when millions of people stand up and say loudly and clearly that a minimum wage has got to be a living wage, yes, we will achieve that goal.
Hello, Senator Sanders. My name is Noah Tang, and I'm a future educator. I student taught in Chicago public schools last summer, and many of the 8th graders I taught English to were reading and learning at a 3rd grade level. What are you going to do to help the underprivileged and just disadvantaged students and schools achieve their dreams of going to college?
Well, Noah, first of all, thank you very much for going into education. And when we talk about the political revolution, one of the things we are talking about is changing our national priorities. And I'm a big football, I know in Iowa football is a big deal, got it? We in New England also watch the Patriots occasionally, okay? But you know what? Tom Brady is a great American hero. You are more of an American hero than Tom Brady is. And I want us as a nation, to understand that education and enhancing our educational system and our intellects, that is a lifelong pursuit. And that starts with having a first-class child care and pre-K system. It starts by making sure we adequately fund public education and we attract the best teachers that we can. And it includes making public colleges and universities tuition-free. I want to see a cultural revolution so that kids in Chicago and in Burlington, Vermont, understand that it is cool, really cool to be reading and thinking and talking about ideas. So to answer your question, Noah, maybe instead of giving tax breaks to billionaires, we adequately fund education from child care through higher education. Okay, where's the mic? We got a mic over there somewhere? Yeah.
It's an honor to be here, hearing you speak. I drove here 6 hours.
Whoa.
From Springfield,
Thank
Illinois.
You. Thank you.
And if you remember at the Democratic debate, I was the guy, as you were getting in the car, and I reach in and I say, here's a yarmulke that says Bernie Sanders in Hebrew and English. The reason I came up here is something that happened just 2 days ago. And I want to talk about the ethics. I want to talk about the ethics of the press, and in particular of Associated Press. And I want to out them here and now. I was in a Hillary Clinton town hall in Urbandale, Iowa, and I talked about the Weed Out Hate initiative, an idea that gets righteous people of this country to teach and instruct people to weed out, to relate weeding the garden with rooting out hatred.
Yes.
And by the time the Associated Press got done with that article, Weed Out Hate became her idea in response to what do Americans do in response to fear. And the right-wing press played ping pong with the left-wing press, and it was just an unbelievable thing.
Welcome to my world. All right.
But this is
all right. So let me just deal with, because you're raising an important question that has to be raised, and something that I am very concerned about. I had hoped, truly, that in this country, which has suffered, and we are certainly not unique in this, it exists all over the world, the stain of racism for so many, many years. That what I see right now, and I'm seeing it with the attacks against Latinos and the undocumented in this country, I am seeing it in the last few days against the Muslim community in this country. What I am seeing is Trump and other demagogues attempting to divide this country, to force or try to get the American people to hate somebody because of their religion or because of their country of birth. That is disgusting, that is unacceptable, and as a nation, we must reject it.
Go ahead, 30 seconds.
But this is the way that people have often won elections. Now, Donald Trump thinks that low wages in this country are just fine. I believe he says having a low minimum wage is not a bad thing for this country. Donald Trump believes that our wages are too high. Donald Trump believes that we should give huge tax breaks to billionaires. So while they get us to try to hate Muslims or Latinos, giving huge tax breaks to billionaires and not raising the minimum wage. Our job is to be smarter than that. Our job is to stand together and say, no, we're not going to fall for it. We're not going to hate Muslims. We're not going to hate Latinos. We're going to stand together as one people and create a country that works for all of us. Okay, Phil, you got a question? Okay, yeah.
Senator Sanders, what's your personal take on public banks? As you know, North Dakota has the only public bank in the United States, and there's some students, one I know of, who has a 3% interest rate on their student loans and everything, and plus public banks can also help build up our infrastructure and education, our roads and bridges. What's your take on that?
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea, and I think states like Vermont can look to North Dakota, which has had that bank since the 1920s, I believe. Is that right? Started by the populist movement way back when. And it's what they do there is public money, tax money and so forth, that goes into the bank, and then they reinvest that money to make their economy stronger and to protect the interests of their own people. I think it is a very smart idea, and I support the idea. Okay, a couple of more questions. Where's the mic? Okay, good.
My name is Joyce Lewis. I love you forever. And I want to know, are you going to help Amtrak